You might have heard the news that yet another celebrity has gone to Twitter to say that it is now illegal to say the word woman. It's a real bummer for anybody like me that was actually looking forward to Hocus Pocus 2. So, why does this keep happening? And why should you care even if you're not trans? Well, let's talk about it. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and assume that folks like Bette Midler and maybe even a certain children's author would probably consider themselves to be feminists. At least that kind of girl boss feminism that says women are good but doesn't really make any other ideological commitments. Now, to hold that view, you need to be able to define who is and isn't a woman. When I was doing my dissertation work, I looked into the psychology of transphobia. Over a dozen studies with thousands of people, I found consistently that gender essentialism, that is just a fancy way of saying, to what extent do you think that men and women are basically different species and belong in different boxes? That consistently predicted transphobia, and I know what you're thinking. Duh, right? But let's stop and dial back for a second. What happens when someone who strongly believes that men and women are inherently different finds out that things are more complicated than what they learned in their third grade science class? Well, they're either going to adjust their thinking or they're going to get defensive. And usually getting defensive means coming back and making an even stricter definition of who is and isn't a woman. So why should you care about transphobia even if you're not trans? Well, through the process of defending that third grade understanding of biology, feminism appropriating reactionary transphobes, because that's a funnier name than the one that they usually get, have twisted themselves into saying things like men cannot be trusted to be caretakers, like nurses. It's rooted in the same line of thinking, like as when they say that trans women are really men and men can't be trusted with vulnerable people. And that's really just the other side of the coin from saying that, women belong in the home because they're more suited to raising children. Because there you have it. They've looped themselves back into being trads. So if you aren't trans, if you're cis, and you're seeing all this wave of anti-trans legislation and everything else, and you're thinking that it's not going to come back and impact you, I've got bad news. Because it already is,